want to live long, they have no use for your song. You're dead, you're dead, you're dead, you're dead and out of this world. Now your hope and compassion is gone. You've sold out your dream to the world. Stay dead, stay dead, stay dead. You're dead and out of this world.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of What We Do Before the Shadows. I'm your host, Hardy Guillen. I am so excited about last week's episode, and guess who graced us with their presence again? I'm super excited. The one, the only, Mark Hamill.
Yes, it's What We Do Before the Shadows, the sequel. For me.
We had to have you back. Everyone is still talking about the episode. I'm still talking about it. Everyone's talking about it. And we couldn't really give out those secrets because it hadn't aired last week. And now that it's aired, we got to spill the tea and we got to talk all things about the episode. So I'm really excited. I heard through the grapevine that you got to keep a prop from the episode. Is that true?
Well, I always ask for something as a memento of whatever I do. It doesn't have to be a big, expensive thing, a belt buckle, something just to remind myself of the episode. And since they made a prop for me that was specifically made for me and then nobody else can use them, I asked for this and they said yes. And you just snap in one side and you snap in the other side and it's my thing. So this is what I'll wear when the kids come trick-or-treating this Halloween. I'll wear it to the door because I have a full over the head Nosferatu mask. I don't know if you've ever seen Nosferatu. It's a 1922 silent film, which is an unauthorized adaptation of Dracula. They couldn't get the rights, so they changed the names, but it's basically the same story. But Max Schreck played the vampire, and he's bald and creepy, and anyway, the mask is horrific, and I like wearing it to the door, but then I stopped wearing it because it really scared small children.
Yeah,
not my favorite thing to do. So, now I'll have these fangs to wear.
those are custom made, and those are really cool. I don't have fangs.
Yeah, you're that's what your character is aiming. That's your goal in life.
That is my goal. It really is, actually. I see when Kayvon and everyone else wears them, and like they're just custom built to you, and they look real, like up close. People don't understand these.
I know.
And it's amazing. But actually, that wasn't even the prop I thought you would have. Is there another prop that you have, actually?
Well, what really surprised me was the prop guys came up to me on the last night of shooting and said, "We have something for you." They came in. We did the selfies. I signed, their Star Wars toys and so forth. And they gave me
Which reminds me, I got to bring my toy. I didn't bring my toy because I was so terrified and to ask you for a signature.
Oh, don't be silly. You should have. I mean, what else? I mean, that's what I'm here for.
Okay, then I will. I'll mail it and then, yeah.
Give the people what they want. So anyway, this prop was something that the character had wore as part of his costume. And it's not used in the actual show, but it is this dagger. And what is significant about it, aside from being a really lethal looking prop, is that it was used in the original What We Do in the Shadows film. So that was really meaningful to me, not only because I'm a fan of the film, but that the prop people were nice enough to do that without my asking. The fangs were a no-brainer because they're not going to use them. They don't fit anybody else. But I didn't expect the dagger, that's for sure.
That's really cool, and that's from the original film. So that was, the Taika and Jermaine film that started all this, basically.
Right.
That's so cool. But I know that there was some BTS behind the scenes pictures that you and your daughter took, which are really cool. Can we show some of those?
Please. Oh,
Now,
there we are.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's you and Matt Berry,
Right.
and you're getting directed.
Chelsea came with me to Toronto. Her mother had things that prevented her from coming, but Chelsea's been my assistant many, many times. She's quite efficient. We brought one of the dogs. We brought Millie. Mabel stayed home. But yeah, that was in the bar towards the end of the shoot.
Yeah, and then we have another one. What are these right here?
We should, okay.
Oh, there we go. That's you getting ready for a scene.
Looking at my lines, right.
And then we have this one as well.
We should mention the fact that not only was the episode written by a woman, Stephanie Robinson, who's one of the executive producers, but it was directed by a woman. And I love her name because it so fits. It sounds so wonderful to say if you're a vampire. Yana Gorskaya. It was like she was made to be a part of the Shadows world. But I love the script, and I had a great time with Yana. She knows what she wants, but allows you to bring what you want to the table. Matt has some mad ad lib skills.
Okay? Oh yeah.
So he would draw, whether they popped into his head or he had them planned. Sometimes he'd do them within the same take. He'd say a line and then take a beat and then say an alternative to the line. The hardest thing was Mark Hamill thought he was hilarious, but the character did not. So I had to remember, don't crack, don't wait till they say cut, then you can acknowledge it and laugh. But his background is perfect for the sort of improvisational nature of the show. In fact, in that last scene in the bar, I said to him, I wish I could say, and I said the line, he goes, do it, man, go ahead, do it. Very encouraging. I'm not used to shows being that loose. They really want you to follow the script to the letter. And for the most part, we did. But since it's meant to be a documentary, the back and forth between Matt and I, especially in the bar, got loosened up. I got a couple of things in there. Matt, of course, is, so proficient at that. I mean, he probably, you must know he does it probably in every episode, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, just going to work on the show every day is just like you have a script that's already well written, like you said, like Stephanie Robinson, the rest of the writers. There's just so much great material. And then to have that freedom that someone just says, hey, do it how you think the character would say it. And it's like, that's so rare. And you're right. Like, we don't really get that opportunity in a lot of movies or on sets for that kind of freedom. So it's very fresh to have that feeling on set.
And what a surprise the storyline is taken with you being a descendant of Van Helsing. So, I mean, I didn't see that coming.
Neither did I.
I forget what the episode was, but you're killing vampires left and right that are raiding the house. Nausea sticks her head in the door and you come up with some you're in the process of putting a wooden stake through this guy's heart. And you're
episode 1 of this season.
I'm on the phone or whatever it is. But I mean, the body count in that episode was huge. I think it was probably the most lethal episode yet.
Yeah, that's right. And I did not know that's the way that Guillermo's storyline was going to go. So you're right. It was a surprise for all of us, and myself included, which was nice, But I love it, and everyone loved having you.
Didn't see that coming at all. And then you joining up with Craig Robinson and those.
And the mosquito collectors of the tri-state area. Yeah, all of those guys are amazing. Had such a fun time. But Kayvon was so excited. We have a picture right here of you guys. Yeah. Kayvon and yourself. Look at him.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. So that's my civilian clothes. I'm still in the hair and the fangs. But yeah, he dropped by the trailer and we did selfies. But
he was so excited. He's such a fan, and he's so excited to meet you. We all were, but I love that picture of you guys together. It's
I
so
true. And you're very good actors, because I saw Jermaine tweeted, everyone was so excited that Mark was doing the show. And I thought, everyone was very professional and nice, but if they were excited, they kept it to themselves. I mean, I was very impressed with all of them, and luckily that first scene, the whole cast is there. You and Mark and Natasha and Kayvon and Matt. That's the only time I had all of you in the same scene, because as you know, the storyline is mostly me versus Matt.
That's right. But remember that scene that we shot was outside the house, and we were shooting in winter. This was December of last year. Do you remember? How did you feel? Were you warm enough? Were you layered off? Because you had different coats and whatnot in your costume.
Yeah. It was, I mean, in this business, you just sort of get used to withstanding anything that's uncomfortable. It got a little chilly, but like I say, you got bigger fish to fry. Your priorities is to do the best you can in the scene, and you go, oh yeah, my legs are numb, but that's secondary. Who cares?
We had so many questions for you.
Yeah.
I mean, our social media feed runneth over. It was just cup flowed over. It was just crazy. We have so many questions here. I want to ask a couple questions. These are really good ones.
I'll go as fast as I can so we can get to as many.
Yeah, good, because this is a couple. This one comes from Melchleiter. Do you learn something new from every character you play, whether it be a life lesson, something about your career, etc.? If so, what are the biggest lessons you have learned? That's a good one.
Yes, you do learn something with each character you play, because you have to empathize with them. People say, what's it like to play a villain? Well, villains don't think of themselves as villains. They think of themselves as misunderstood or whatever it is. So I couldn't distill it into what big life lesson overall that I've learned. But to answer the question in a more general way, yes, you always learn something new. And if you don't, you're doing something wrong.
That's a great answer. That's exactly it. This one comes from Taiki Tawaitiki. I think they're taking Taika Waititi's name and they mixed the letters there. Okay. Who'd win in a fight, a vampire Jedi or a werewolf droid?
Oh gosh. A vampire Jedi, that's a double dose of supernatural power. A Jedi has a certain amount of power, so does a vampire. And again, a werewolf droid, that's kind of an oxymoron because it's a mechanical object. I'll just go with the vampire Jedi without trying to drill too deep into the logic of the question.
That's great. I love it. That's a good answer. EJ Potts asks, both of you, I guess both of us, have been involved in work that has allowed people to feel really connected with what you do. What advice would you give a 33-year-old that is finally graduating college in a week and wants to leave that same kind of positive impression on the world through what they do? Could honestly use a little inspiration right now. Thanks, y'all. Oh.
Well, my bio on Twitter is believe in yourself, work hard, never give up, and anything's possible. So I think a lot of it has to do with identifying your goals and pursuing them without giving into despair that you're not. It won't happen overnight. But like I say, if you figure out what you want to do, no one can stop you if you're determined enough.
I couldn't have said it that better myself. Yeah, my thing is never give up. You just believe in yourself, keep going, don't stop, keep going.
Yeah, I was reading about your audition for Shadows, and you thought, well, I don't. What makes me think I'm going to get this out of the thousands of people that they're seeing? But you went in, you did the best you can, and bingo, you got that phone call. You're the one.
Yeah, and the role was originally written for a person who was 20 years older. The character of Guillermo was 20 years older. And so I already went with someone else could have just said, well, this isn't your role. It's clearly for someone older. It's not the right fit. But I just went in there thinking, this is an opportunity. And this is an opportunity to showcase what I can do with the character if they were my age. And I went in with that mentality, and look at us now.
Sometimes that works to your advantage. When I auditioned for the Joker, I thought there's no way they're going to cast Luke Skywalker as the Joker. They had just gone through all that bad PR when before they even saw Michael Keaton as Batman, the reaction was, oh, he's a comedy actor. He's Mr. Mom. He can't be Batman. This is before they even saw him.
Right.
So that was the atmosphere when I went in. And because I thought there's no way they're going to do this just from a public relations standpoint, I was completely at ease. I didn't have performance anxiety because I knew I couldn't get it. And that was to my advantage. So I just said, well, I'm going to do the best I can and make them sorry they're not going to be able to hire me.
I think I went in with that same mentality. I was like, at this point in your head, it's like, well, they're either going to like it or they're not, but I'm going to give it my best. And I already thought, I'm too young for it. I'm not going to get it, but I'm going to give it my best and put my best foot forward. And look at us. It paid off. You got the joke. I got Guillermo.
The fact that you thought that Guillermo was going to be, what, in his 40s or 50s took a lot of pressure off because you thought, well, I'm a long shot.
Yeah.
So why don't I just do the best I can? And that worked to your advantage. I mean, sometimes I should tell people, you can want things so much that the anxiety comes through. You have to, even if you want it, act like you don't want it. Because if the neediness comes through, it's uncomfortable, not only for yourself, but for the people watching you. So like I say, if you can at least feign being aloof, it works to your advantage.
I have to agree with that. I feel like I've seen, I've like produced a couple of things where I get to see casting, and it's just always, you want people to succeed, but you're rooting them. But when they show that much of like, but give me a job, it's like that desperation of a chorus line. It's like, God, I hope I get it. I hope I get it. It's like, whoa, it comes off too much, and then it's like, just be yourself, just be relaxed.
It's completely understandable because we all want the job. That's why I'm saying if you can sublimate that and act like whatever, that puts everyone at ease. Do your best, but don't push. That's another thing. I mean, I'm guilty of it. I mean, I should practice what I preach, but a lot of times I'd be so wanting the part, I'd push too hard. And it throws your performance off. You got to get in the zone, do deep breathing exercises. And even if you want it, pretend like it doesn't matter to you.
There you go. And that's a perfect segue to this next question from Smack Writer, who wrote, I was wondering what Mark's bucket list is when it comes to acting. Is there a dream role of his that we don't know about?
Well, that's the Hamlet question, isn't it? I don't really have one. Like I say, I like being surprised. When I went to do theater in New York, I auditioned for Amadeus, and they'd already given it to Peter Firth, but they couldn't clear his green card. So they said, well, if he can't get the green card, you're Mozart. That's terrible to hear, because then you're saying, oh, I hope he doesn't get his green card, which is negative. And he wound up getting his green card. But then the same producers were doing Elephant Man. So they had me go into Elephant Man. Well, what I'm saying is my bucket list are parts that you never expected you'd get a chance to play, but that come your way just because of fate, the fickle finger of fate. So I wound up doing Elephant Man. And then when the first national tour of Amadeus came around, they came back to me, and I did that with John Wood for, 7 months on the road. And then they moved me to the Broadway production. So, just be ready for anything, because you never know what's going to happen. And you just have to be able to recognize an opportunity. And when it shows itself, jump on it. So
I love it. Yeah, be ready for it. Jump on it. This next question comes from Vic .WTF. If a Jedi becomes a vampire and needs to live in the shadows to survive, would that make the Jedi be on the dark side of the Force?
These questions. I mean, people will ask me these things about like Star Wars. Somebody just asked me the other day, why didn't R2-D2 tell you that Darth Vader was your father, given his history? He has all the memory, and that never occurred to me. It just never occurred to me.
The questions that people come up with.
Yeah. These are questions that are created by people that have far too much time on their hands. So, I would say the answer to that question is your guess is as good as mine.
I would agree. I don't even know
If
what
you're a
the right
Jedi and you're on the dark side, that means you're a Sith, right? So, yeah, and even though villains are more fun to play in Star Wars, I'm definitely a goody two shoes.
Well, I think the most important question out of the things that we found online, I think this is the one from Katie D2, and she asked, "Do my three dogs look like they could be vampires? The middle one is definitely a biter."
How great! Yes, Chelsea has pictures of Millie with her fangs showing. I love pictures of dogs. On Twitter, if you tweet a picture of an animal, I'll like it. That's a surefire. I do likes like participation ribbons. But yes, that dog definitely has vampire potential.
Well, there you go. That was the most important question, I think, because there's a dog on it. Okay, it's time to play one of our favorite games called This, That, or That.
Okay.
So, this game will give you two options to pick from. You got to pick one or the other. If you feel like you don't want to pick anything or you want to plead the fifth, you can always say bat, and we move on to the next question. The goal is to go through all the questions without having to scream bat. Are you ready?
I am. Although I don't know, I'm going to have top last episode.
I know.
Into 100% correct.
You did. Well, this one, I guess there can be a wrong answer as long as you don't use bat. So we have to choose between droids or familiars.
Well, I would have to say, given my history, droids.
Good answer.
Only because, I have a long, long history. Although God knows I could use a familiar in my life.
Everyone could use a familiar. No, yeah.
The loyalty alone is off the charts.
You can't buy that kind of loyalty. You can't buy that loyalty.
But droids don't age at all. R2 and C-3PO look exactly like they did in the original trilogy, while I have aged tragically.
I want to know their secret. What's their daily routine? Okay, then the next one's going to be either fermented salmon heads or jellied moose nose. These are actual dishes.
Jellied moose nose?
Yeah, nose.
Oh, I couldn't eat bullwinkle. I'll go with the fish.
So no bullwinkle, yes to the fish. All right, next one is Disneyland or Disney World?
Well, again, I was born in Oakland, California, and when I was a kid, we lived in San Diego, and we'd go to Disneyland, which is built, I think, 5, 6 scale or something. Disneyland is full scale. And just expansive beyond words. But just out of loyalty, I'd have to say Disneyland.
Me too. I'm an Angelino, so I grew up with Disneyland. Yeah. So
I'm still mad that Florida stole the craziest state mantle away from California. We used to be the craziest state in the 60s, and somehow we lost out to Florida, which is far crazier than us.
I would be mad too. So yeah, I choose Disneyland, and Disneyland's fine. Okay, the next one is Joaquin Phoenix in The Joker or Jared Leto in Suicide Squad?
Wow. See, they're both so different.
They're so different, yeah.
Yeah, well, Jared was really in the comic book world, and Joaquin, it was like a study of mental illness that was just harrowing to watch, but not as connected to the comic book world as Jared. So I guess you'd have to go with whether you like the comic book version or the reinterpretation of it. Same with Heath Ledger. Again, I mean, I never would have thought my Joker was full of joy. He was almost gleeful in executing these perverse things that he would do, and Heath was completely devoid of any sort of joyfulness and unique. It never would have occurred to me to portray him that way. So just on the basis of originality, I guess you'd have to give the edge to Joaquin, only because it was so unexpected. Although I'm a fan of Jared, so very much so, and I met him once. We were at an awards thing in London, and he came over and chatted with me, and we exchanged Joker notes. But yeah, I'm a big fan of his as well.
That's a tough one. So yeah, I would agree with everything you said. So this is your final choice. Yeah.
I like them both. I almost said Bat because I don't want to offend either one of them. I like them both.
No, but you like them both, yeah. But
Yeah.
just in the sense of the character. So your choice is your choice. All right,
Okay.
let's move on to the next one. The next one would be between blue milk or blood.
Well, this is interesting because blue milk was in the original trilogy, and we were filming in North Africa, so it was what they call long life milk. It's the kind of milk you bring camping because it requires no refrigeration. And because of that, so they used long life milk, just put blue food coloring in it. But the additives to make it so that you don't have to refrigerate it, it's oily, it's sweet, it's gag inducing. But I figured if they're going to put blue milk on the set, I'm going to take a sip of it just to say I did it. So some of my best acting is taking a drink of blue milk and not making a face like, and the milk in the picture you're showing is actually green milk, which was coconut water that was dyed green in post-production. So I like coconut water. It was refreshing and delicious. And look, I'm not going there with blood. I got to go with the coconut green milk.
Well, congratulations. You made it through the whole game without screaming bat, which means you are the winner of our prize. Let's show him what he's won.
Oh, boy.
That's right. This whole set. Rules and conditions apply. No delivery available. Must pick up between Austin before May 22nd, 2020.
Oh, you guys really have yourself covered. By being in lockdown, in quarantine, I have relatives that live in Austin. But since it says I have to pick it up myself, you're not going to have to.
Oh, man.
I know. Last time I won a trip to a European castle somewhere.
You did. You keep winning. You actually are the first contestant to win everything. Like, you have actually won. We haven't had one winner officially win.
Is that right?
Won everything. So you're taking the highest level here at the show.
Well, it's the thought that counts. I'm glad I won, and I don't really need a prize for that. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And before we go, is there anything you want to tell the fans out there who have embraced you throughout this whole journey and welcomed you into the Shadows family? Because we are so lucky to have you. Anything you want to say to the fans?
Thank you. You have been so loyal and so supported at the high points in my career, at the low points in my career. I mean, like I say, you meet these people and they tell you stories of how something you've done has affected them. They got you through your mother's illness, your parents were divorcing, whatever it was. I met my wife waiting in line for this movie. It's so highly personal, and everyone feels like they know you. These strangers, wherever I go, people are so warm and so friendly. And like I said, they're more than fans. They're like family. So thank you so much for that. And it's much appreciated and not expected, but very, very much appreciated.
Well, thank you for that. That's beautiful. Thank you.
And now a whole new strain of vampiric fans.
You're part of the family. You're part of the Shadows family now forever. So we welcome you. Come to the Christmas parties, to our Thanksgiving feast, everything. You are welcome.
Are they all in Toronto?
No, they're in Staten Island.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Well, thanks again so much, Mark. Until next time, we welcome you whenever you want to come back and visit us. Say bye, everyone, to Mark Hamill. Bye.
Hamill out.
Thanks for joining us, and thank you guys for joining us, because we do this show for you, the fans. Now, later today, there's going to be a brand new episode of what we do before the Shadows, so make sure you tune in. You can also catch up with all past episodes at beforetheshadows.com, so make sure you check it out. Before I go, I want to give my artist shout out of the week, and this one goes out to It's Poppy Art, who, there you go, it's Jim the Vampire. So adorable and so perfect. Thanks you guys for always sending your work over to us. We love when artists inspire other artists. And we love promoting it here. So if you want to show your art in whatever form that is, use the hashtag Before the Shadows. And who knows, it might end up on the show. So until next time, take care of yourself, you guys. And if you don't do it for yourself, please, please do it for someone you love. All right. Till next time. Bye.
Ba ba da 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 da. Da 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 da.